Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. On today's tutorial, I will demonstrate how to make this lovely high-low asymmetrical side cowl shirt. Hi, my name is Ayo and welcome to 011 Clothing Tutorials. On this channel, I upload DIYs, pattern drafting and sewing tutorials. If you haven't subscribed yet, kindly do so, and do not forget to turn on the notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. So now, let's get right into the tutorial. Thank you! We'll be working with the following items: pins, tailor's chalk, a pair of fabric scissors, tape measure, 2 yards of this lovely but very sheer flowered chiffon fabric. I used 2 yards of this plain chiffon fabric to line the flowered chiffon, calculator, rulers and curves. I will be working with the following measurements: shoulder to shoulder 16 inches, bust circumference 39 inches, waist circumference 35 inches, hip circumference 43 inches, shoulder to waistline 17 inches, sleeve length 22.5 inches, around wrist measurement 9 inches. As for the blouse length, we have 2 blouse lengths. For the shorter side, I'll make the blouse length 26 inches, and for the longer side, I'll make the blouse length 40 inches. I have here this plain chiffon fabric, which I have already laid out on the table. I have already folded the fabric into 2, as you can see. The width of the fold is the hip circumference plus 4 inches for ease divided by 4. This is 43 inches plus 4 inches divided by 4. This is equal to 11.75 inches. I will add extra 2 inches to this 11.75 inches, and this is approximately equal to 14 inches. So the width of the fold that I have here is 14 inches. I have already drawn out the starting vertical line. I left extra 0.5 inch for the seam allowance at the center back. What I intend to do is to cut one back piece and one front piece. I will cut the 2 of them together. First, I will draw out a horizontal starting line about 1 inch from the top edge of the fabric. The lower part of the fold will be the front piece, while the upper part will be the back piece. So I will add extra allowance of about 2.5 inches to the lower part of the fold. I will secure the 2 layers together like this with my pins. I will draw a vertical line downwards. From the upper starting line, I will measure and mark 1 inch downwards like this. I will draw a horizontal line across. This is the shoulder line. Next, I will calculate the armhole depth using the formula bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. This is 39 inches divided by 6 plus 1.5. This is equal to 8 inches. From the shoulder line, I will measure and mark 8 inches downwards like this. I will draw a horizontal line across. This is the armhole line. The shoulder to waistline measurement is 17 inches. From the upper starting line, I will measure and mark 17 inches downwards like this. I will draw a horizontal line across. This is the waistline. This side of the shirt that I'm drafting is the shorter side, so I will use the blouse length of 26 inches. From the upper starting line, I will measure and mark 26 inches downwards for the blouse length. I will add extra 1 inch to this for the seam allowance, making it a total of 27 inches. I will draw a horizontal line across. This is the hem of the shirt. This vertical line that I have here is the starting line. That is, it is the center back and also the center front line, since I am cutting the front and the back of the shirt together. For the back neckline curve, I will use a value of 3 inches by 1 inch. Using my French curve, I will draw out the back neckline curve like this. For the front neckline, I will use a value of 3 inches by 3 inches. Using a French curve, I will draw out the front neckline curve like this. I will extend the front neckline curve to the button stand allowance like this using my ruler. I will add half an inch seam allowance to the back neckline curve. The seam allowance for the front neckline curve will be added later. Next, I will divide the shoulder to shoulder measurement by 2. This is 16 inches divided by 2, and this is equal to 8 inches. From this line, the center back and the center front line, I will measure and mark 8 inches on the shoulder line. I will add half an inch to this for the seam allowance. I will connect these 2 points together with my ruler like this to give me the slanted shoulder line. I will add half an inch to this for the seam allowance. On the armhole line, I will also measure and mark this same 8 inches, which is the shoulder to shoulder measurement divided by 2. I will add half an inch to this for the seam allowance. I will connect these 2 points together with my ruler like this. Next, I will calculate the bust circumference plus 4 inches for ease divided by 4. This is 43 inches plus 4 divided by 4. This is equal to 10.75 inches. On the armhole line, I will measure and mark 10.75 inches starting from the center back or the center front vertical line. I will add 1 inch to this for the seam allowance. I will locate and mark the middle point on this vertical line. From this middle point, I will go in by half an inch. I will connect these 2 points together with my ruler like this. I will also connect these 2 lower points together with my French curve like this. I have created the armhole curve. I will add half an inch seam allowance to the armhole curve like this. Next, I will calculate the waist circumference plus 4 inches for ease divided by 4. This is 35 inches plus 4 inches divided by 4. This is equal to 9.75 inches. From the center back or the center front line, I will measure and mark 9.75 inches on the waistline. I will add 1 inch to this for the seam allowance. Next, I will calculate the hip circumference plus 4 inches for ease divided by 4. This is 43 inches plus 4 divided by 4. This is equal to 11.75 inches. From this vertical line, which is the center back or the center front line, I will measure and mark 11.75 inches. I will add 1 inch seam allowance to this. I will now connect these 3 points together like this with my ruler to give me the side seam of the back and the front pieces. At the side seam, I will go up by 1 inch from the hem. At the center front and also the button stand allowance, I will come down by 1 inch from the hem. I will curve the hem using a ruler and a pattern master like this. I will secure the front and the back pieces together with my pins like this. I will cut out the back neckline first. The front neckline will be cut out later. I will cut out the back and the front shirt pieces. I will separate the back neckline from the front neckline. I will cut out the front neckline. I forgot to add half an inch seam allowance to the front neckline before cutting out. Please do not forget to add half an inch seam allowance to the front neckline when cutting yours. I will also notch the center front at the upper part and also at the hem. The lower piece is the front piece. Next, I will cut out the side of the shirt with the cowl detail. I have already folded the fabric into two, as you can see, selvage to selvage. I have pinned the two fabric pieces together. I did not fold the fabric into two equal halves. Instead, I left enough space on the fabric underneath for the button stand allowance. The button stand allowance is 2.5 inches. I have already drawn out the center back line and also the button stand line. I have also drawn out the upper starting line. From the upper starting line, I will measure and mark 1 inch downwards for the shoulder line. I will draw a horizontal line across. The length that I want for this longer side of the shirt is 40 inches. So from the upper starting line, I will measure and mark 40 inches downwards like this. I will add 1 inch to this for the seam allowance, making the total length equal to 41 inches. I will draw a horizontal line across. This is the hem of this longer side of the shirt. Just like I did for the shorter side of the shirt that has been cut out, I am cutting one back piece and one front piece together. The lower piece is the front piece, while the upper piece is the back piece. For the back neckline curve, I will use a value of 3 inches by 1 inch. Using my French curve, I will draw out the back neckline curve like this. For the front neckline, I will use a value of 3 inches by 3 inches. Using my French curve, I will draw out the front neckline curve like this. I will add half an inch seam allowance to the back neckline curve like this. Next, I will divide the shoulder to shoulder measurement by 2. This is 16 inches divided by 2, and this is equal to 8 inches. On the shoulder line, from the center back and the center front line, I will measure and mark 8 inches. I will add half an inch to this value for the seam allowance. I will highlight the shoulder point very well like this. The sleeve length that I'm working with is 22.5 inches. I will remove 5 inches from the sleeve length. This 5 inches is for the sleeve cuff, and this gave me a value of 17.5 inches. So I will measure and mark 17.5 inches from the shoulder point on the upper starting line like this. I will not add any seam allowance to the hem of the sleeve because I have already added half an inch seam allowance at the shoulder point. I will connect the neck point to the end of the sleeve like this using my ruler. And this should give me a slanted line. I will add half an inch seam allowance to this slanted line like this. For the sleeve opening, from this point, I will measure and mark 15 inches downwards like this. This sleeve opening will be gathered into the sleeve cuff. I will draw a vertical line downwards. From the 15-inch point, I will go in by 2 inches. I will draw out a short horizontal line. Next, I will calculate the hip circumference. Plus 4 inches for east divided by 4. This is 43 inches plus 4 divided by 4. And this is equal to 11.75 inches. At the end, from the center back and the center front line, I will measure and mark 11.75 inches like this. I will add 1 inch to this for the side seam allowance. I will draw a vertical line upwards from the hem. From the hem, I will measure and mark 3 inches upwards on this short vertical line. I will connect these 2 points together like this by drawing out a slight cowl shape. I will cut it out. I will separate the back neckline from the front neckline. I will clearly draw out the front neckline curve. You should add half an inch seam allowance to the front neckline, but because I forgot to add half an inch seam allowance to the front neckline of the shorter side, I will also not add any seam allowance to this neckline. I will cut it out. I will knock the center front on the front neckline. I have already knocked the center front at the end. Next, I will draft the basic long sleeve pattern. I will cut just one sleeve piece. I have already folded my fabric into 2 layers. I will draw out my starting line about 2 inches from the top edge of the fabric. The sleeve length that I'm working with is 22.5 inches. So from the upper starting line, I will measure and mark 22.5 inches like this. I will draw a horizontal line across. Next, I will calculate the cap height value using the formula bust circumference divided by 12 plus 1.5 inches. This is 39 divided by 12 plus 1.5. This is equal to 4.75 inches. From the upper starting line, I will measure and mark 4.75 inches downwards like this. I will draw a horizontal line across. This is the cap height line. Next, I will calculate the armhole depth using the formula bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. This is 39 divided by 6 plus 1.5. This is equal to 8 inches. On the cap height line, I will measure and mark 8 inches like this. I will connect these 2 points together with my ruler to give me a slanted line. I will divide the slanted line into 4 equal sections. From the first middle point, I will go up by half an inch. From the second middle point, I will come down by half an inch. I will now draw out the curve of the sleeve head using these half-inch points as my guide. I will add half an inch seam allowance to the sleeve head curve like this. Next, I will divide the around wrist measurement by 2. This is 9 inches divided by 2 and this is equal to 4.5 inches. At the hem of the sleeve, I will measure and mark 4.5 inches like this. I will add 1 inch side seam allowance to it. Also at the upper part, I will add 1 inch side seam allowance. I will connect these 2 points together like this to give me the side seam of the sleeve. For the cuff of the sleeve, I will measure and mark 5 inches upwards from the hem. I will draw a horizontal line across. At the upper part, I will draw out a half-inch seam allowance. At the side, I will draw out 1 inch side seam allowance. I will secure the sleeve together with pins. I will cut out the upper part of the sleeve, and I will make sure to cut it out with the half-inch seam allowance at the lower part. I will cut out the cuff without the seam allowance. I will open up the cuff with my fabric already folded into 2. I will pin the cuff to the fabric like this. I will add half an inch seam allowance all around the cuff. I will cut it out. I need 4 cuff pieces, so I will cut out additional 2 later on. The initial cuff is just a template and it will be discarded because it does not have any seam allowance. So these are the main body pieces of the shirt, which I have cut out on the plain chiffon fabric. The plain chiffon is the lining for the sheer transparent flowered chiffon. I will go ahead and use these pieces as the template or the pattern to cut out the shirt on this transparent flowered chiffon, which is the exterior fabric of the shirt. But recall that the shirt design is asymmetrical. If I am not careful, I will end up having 2 left sides or just 2 right sides for my shirt. In order to prevent this, I have to do this when cutting out the exterior fabric. For the short side of the shirt, I will cut out the fabric with the right sides of the fabric together. And as for the longer side, I will cut it out with the wrong sides of the fabric folded together. This can be done vice versa. It depends on which side of the shirt you want to be longer or shorter. I folded my fabric the exact same way that I did when I was cutting out the shorter side of the shirt on the plain chiffon fabric. I folded the fabric with the right sides together. I will carefully pin it in place. We'll cut it out. I will cut out the back neckline first. I will move the back neckline out of the way, then I will cut out the front neckline. I will notch the center back and the center front. This notching should also be done at the hem. This is the longer side of the shirt with the cowl. I have already pinned the plain chiffon fabric to the flowered chiffon. This time around, wrong sides of the flowered chiffon are folded together. The right side is outside. I will cut it out. I will cut out the back neckline first. Then I will move the back neckline out of the way. Then I will cut out the front neckline. I will notch the center back and the center front, and I will continue with the cutting. I will also notch the center back and the center front at the lower part. This is the sleeve. I will also cut it out on the flower chiffon fabric. So now that has been done, as you can see, I have cut out the flower chiffon using the plain chiffon for the sleeve and the sleeve cuff as my template or pattern. I cut out one sleeve piece on the flower chiffon and one sleeve piece on the plain chiffon. As for the cuff, I cut 4 pieces on the flower chiffon and also 4 pieces on the plain chiffon as well. Stay tuned for the next tutorial where I will continue with the sewing of these shirts.